Harlequin, speak.
Yes, we are live.
All right, guys. Okay, so I am tired right now, but I do want to apologize to you guys for the slight
Uh,
delay. There was a
you gotta increase your volume. You're very quiet on the stream.
oh my gosh. How am I quiet on the screen? I didn't touch anything. What about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I would say you can probably still double it. Like you're half of my volume on the stream.
It's all the way up.
You're using maybe like a webcam microphone.
No, I'm using my microphone. Can anybody
know
hear
that.
me? If anybody is in the live, can you hear me clear? Can y'all hear me? Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. Can anybody hear
that.
me?
Great, perhaps
anybody
it's like a
is in
whisper.
the live, can you hear me clear? Oh no. Can y'all hear me? A whisper? Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. I'm using the same settings that I had during my stream. I didn't touch anything. I'm sorry, guys, for the technical difficulties. I'm sorry, Bird Bunch, for the technical difficulties. What about now? Can y'all hear me? Am I still a whisper? Yes, there is an echo because I was trying to hear myself on the stream. So
The volume on the stream didn't change, but you're louder in Discord now.
that's weird. Okay, I think I know what the issue is. Mic check. Say something, Harlequin. Say something.
So you're no different.
Oh my God.
Looks like I'm fine.
Okay. Sorry, I'm sorry, guys. Let me try one more thing. Then if not, I guess I'm gonna try to talk as loud as I can. This is so disappointing.
I mean, if everything else fails, I guess you can just reduce my volume so it's closer together.
I don't know how much you sound, though. I mean, you sound okay to me.
Yeah, I'm like double your voice, your volume on the stream.
Oh. What about now? Am I louder? Am I louder?
Yeah, you are on Discord, but I don't know what you're doing. It's not changing.
I'm in the mixer.
No, you're extremely loud on Discord, but no change on the stream.
Okay, let me do this. What about now?
I don't hear any change. I mean, you're clear, but you're not very loud.
What about now? Mic check.
No, there's no change in your volume on the
Mic
stream.
check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Oh my gosh. I don't know, guys. I don't know.
I swear to God, you got your mic capped in your OBS settings.
Okay.
It's not budging. Like it's the same consistent low volume.
Okay. Oh, alright. I think this is the problem. What about now?
No, it doesn't change on the stream. I hear it in Discord. You're really loud on Discord, but not on the stream.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, oh boy, I got. Am I louder or not?
In Discord, yes. On the stream, no difference.
Okay, they say it's good on the stream.
Yeah, it's hearable, I guess. Like I have it all the way cranked up now.
Mic check, mic check. Hello? Am I louder or not?
In Discord, yes. On the stream, no difference.
Okay, they say it's good on the stream.
Yeah, it's hearable, I guess. Like I have it all the way cranked up now.
Mic check, mic check. Hello? I mean, am I louder? I don't want to be all day trying to. I'm going to try to talk as loud as I can. I'm sorry. On you, Simple Gaming, if I'm going to be too loud for you. But if I'm low on the stream, I think I know what it is.
I have no problem. I can just make you more silent.
Yeah. Alright, guys and girls, today we bring to you another RPG Maker game by the one and only what's his name again? Bird Bunch. Alright, let me try something real quick. Let me turn all these filters off and see if that changes something. If not, I just go about, we just go about our business. If I'm louder, okay, I may not sound as good, but I won't sound as low. So let me turn off the filters, especially the noise gate. That could be the issue. What about now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Holy cow, I'm in the freaking red. Woo wee! Alright, let me bring it down a bit. Yeah, it was something with the noise gate. Alright, we found the problem. Let me turn the gain down a bit. I am sorry if I hurt y'all ears. I am so sorry if I hurt y'all ears. Alright, so is that better? I'm still in. Okay, I'm still loud. Okay, let me Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, Bird Bunch. If
Man,
Harlequin,
they lying, man. You're not allowed at all.
if Harlequin wasn't, if Harlequin wasn't late, then I wouldn't be having this problem. All right, what about now, guys? What about now? That should be better. That should be better. To be honest, that should be better. Okay. They keep sound getting quieter. I'm soft again. I don't know what it
I'm
is,
telling
but
you, your stream volume did not change in the last 10 minutes.
yeah, but they said I'm loud now because I turned the filters off. So, all right, let's get on with the podcast. Oh my gosh. We are reviewing Bird Bunch's game. The game is called Starscribed. Many of you know who Bird Bunch is in the RPG Maker community. He is a developer that started out with the game called Kindred Novel. Kindred Novel is Starscribed, but it's a different name and a different theme. If that makes sense. So, he won the wheel. He won the picker wheel. And we got his game. So, today, me and Harlequin is going to be talking about it. Our experience with the game and maybe some of the changes, especially me. I was able to experience Kindred Novel in its infancy. And Harlequin, I think he played Kindred Novel. Maybe he has. So I know he definitely saw my stream. You know, he's been following me about 3 years. So he saw Kindred Novel.
Yeah. I think I played it all the way back when it was called Kindred Novel for the first time.
Yep. So let me.
I don't. Did anything change even? Like it's the same game, right?
Lots
Like,
of stuff
story
changed.
mode. Yeah, but like the story mode is still the same, right? It's still you start out at the mining thing, and then you reach the big city, and I don't think that's ever been different. It didn't have the rogue mode back in the day.
Rogue mode was actually there when I remember playing it. Rogue mode was there.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
The characters that was available in rogue mode wasn't there. They actually changed, you know. So Starscribe is Kindred Novel. You know, I kind of thought the name kind of felt weird because Kindred Novel, you know, the name novel, it kind of indicates that the player is going to play a visual novel. But this game,
back in the day, there was so much dialogue, it could have been a novel, to be honest.
but it had gameplay. It had a lot of turn-based gameplay and exploration for it to not to be categorized as a novel, my guy. I don't know what you're on, but we are not on the same page on that one. You know, I'm going to say you're capping. You are big capping. So, like all podcast days, guys, we're going to talk about what we think about the game. What could have been improved? What can the developer improve about the game? And those who calling Bird Bunch a girl, Bird Bunch is a guy. Quick story. Before Bird Bunch started going live, the name Kylie is, you know, it's a name that's referenced to it's a girl name. But that's one of the characters in his game name as well. So I'm thinking, you know, maybe, you know, this is the character and this was a girl. So, I kept calling Bird Bunch, you know, girl, whatnot. I didn't know. I didn't see their face until they went stream. I was like, oh man, I thought you was a woman. But you know, long story short, you know, I was kind of surprised because I actually thought, you know, this is a woman the whole time, and I think we've been talking about 6-7 months before you know, I knew the Bird Bunch as today. But great developer, great person overall. Definitely someone that you want to have on your team when it comes to, you know, just talking about game development. And a great Street Fighter, you know, fighter game player. Definitely pull up all the stops. And that knowledge is definitely put into this game, Starscribed. So we're gonna start it off by saying Starscribe is not like your ordinary everyday RPG game. It is definitely not. Story wise, it has a story. You know, it has a, you know, really deep dialogue when it comes to the characters. You know, each character definitely have a backstory. But you do start off as a girl named Begonia, which I believe is a flower. You know, I think she's named after a flower. She mentioned it plenty of times that the forest where she is from, you know, they are flowers and strange creatures that they encounter. So what's unique about Begonia is her class. She's kind of like a trapeze artist, like a circus, like a dancer, whatever you want to call it. You know, so she has a unique fighting style. You know, something that you really don't see in RPG Maker, because in RPG Maker, you run across these knights, you run across warriors and all that stuff, but you never run across a trapeze, a circus performer. And she's well known too. She's well known. You know, some of the soldiers mentioned that they saw a brochure, I guess a voucher. Don't know if he was joking or whatnot, but yeah, very unique character. So I'm gonna ask my co-host, what kind of understanding he got from the plot of the game, like in ordinance, like mission, the plot point, you know, the rise of climax, all that. What was your understanding?
Me that for?
Huh?
I have no freaking idea. You've seen my stream, right? I only finished, like, not even finished, really, like the tutorial section of the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you need to play for 2 hours or longer before you even leave the tutorial, so I have no idea about the plot, really.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
fair.
very, like, slow burn in that scenario, I suppose, because it's well paced, I think. Like, it's not like drawn out or anything. You're mostly busy learning how to freaking play this game. But plot wise, you're only like arriving at this village and you're trying to escape, and you meet another person, like the night guy, and that's about all I could get done in 2 hours. So I don't know about the grander plot, the overarching plot. I have no freaking idea.
Let's talk about that, because I mean, it's no point of, explaining the story with each other if you have no idea. So 2 hours for the tutorial.
Not even. Like I didn't get to the Zizos fight. I
Uh-huh.
didn't get to that. I barely managed to beat the spider boss
Mm-hmm.
within those 2 hours.
So why was the tutorial so demanding toward? Like explain to us your experience with the tutorial.
Um, there's a lot of repetition in there. Like a bunch of tutorials are repeated for some reason. Like you start off and you get told how to do a thing, and then you do the thing, and like 2 or 3 battles later, it tells you the same thing again for some reason. I'm not sure why. But overall, there's just a lot to it. Like there's so many mechanics stacked on top of each other, and so little actual information given that I'll spend like most of the time I spent just trying to figure out what all these 5 million icons on the screen mean.
Mm-hmm.
So the first boss, like the tutorial boss, the harpy creature, I died there because I was just trying to figure out what's actually happening. Right, the creature wasn't really attacking much, so I figured I just go and experiment with an actual enemy instead of like a training dummy. And that's how I ended up dying, because I could never figure out what any of this enemy's skills did. Like it does like Iron Claw, but there's no explanation as to what it does. Or this wind barrier and whatnot. Right? There's a lot of icons and stuff on the screen at all times, but none of it is explained. So I'll spend 2 hours trying to figure out what any of it means.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent like, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes until I got to the tutorial boss, the harpy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even more, actually. Like within the 2 hours, I barely managed to beat the spider, and that's where I quit recording the footage, because that's 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I jumped into the rogue mode to see the other characters a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the tutorial is really long, and the combat is really hard to grasp. I think not actually the mechanic itself. Like I feel the pacing of the tutorial was alright. Like it's better structured now. You really start to learn. Alright, you have this timer window. Okay, got that. And then it goes on to say, alright, you got these flow orbs thingies. Alright, understood. Right, that's explained well. What's not explained is what your skills do. I mean, it's kind of explained in the description, of course, but it's not really concise.
Like the stances per se.
Yeah, the stances, for example, are a big thing, but that happens basically at the end of the tutorial, right? When you meet him first, you already got access to the skills that change the stance, but you don't have the skill that actually interacts with any stance. So that was confusing, and while each skill has their explanation, I think the way the menus are designed is terrible. Like,
Okay.
if you wanna, let's say you wanna find out about any specific skill, you can look that up, but there's a lot of stuff in the description of the skill that's not explained. The easiest example being the stances, right? The skill says it changed the stance to soldier. Okay, got it, but what does soldier do? It's not explained anywhere. What does farmer do? It's not explained anywhere. Right? Like the skills do a lot of states and stuff, and the skills are explained, but the states are not. And it's the same for the enemies. Like there's a lot of states going on, but there's just an icon. I have no fucking idea what any of these states do. Right? And you got this survey skill. You can look the enemies up, but there's only icons, I still don't know what any of it does. So you're just out there kind of being confused all the time because you got weakness icons, you got state icons, you got the barrier icons, you got block icons, you got counter icons and everything. Like there's just a shit ton of icons in every battle. And if you deal damage, there's like 3 damage numbers popping up at once, and you have no idea what any of them do because the health bar didn't move. So what kind of damage did I deal there? Like the health bar didn't move. I don't see no shield meter anywhere. So what the fuck is happening?
So you got pink numbers, green
Yeah, you
numbers,
got
and
pink,
white
green, and
numbers.
blue. Blue, I think I saw too. I'm not entirely sure. Like there's just a whole lot of numbers and icons everywhere. The screen is full with icons and numbers, but none of it is explained.
So your issue is, okay, you sending me through a tutorial where you're supposed to be teaching me step by step of what is what. You teach me the flow order, you teach me, whatnot, but at the same time, you are showing me all these different icons, like a slash icon, a icon with a red eye. You have no idea what it means. The only thing you could do is guess. Okay, this is the Octave Path Traveler mechanic.
Yeah, but you
Then
can
this
only
is,
do that if you played Octopath.
yeah. If you only
I
play
didn't.
Octopath, correct.
So,
Correct. If you never played it, you're not going to know that's the weakness or the state that, it could be a state that they're affected with. You have no idea. But those who play Octopath and play Realtron's game is going to understand that, okay, yes, these are the weaknesses. The shield is going down. Yes, those the weaknesses. I 100% agree with you.
yeah, the weaknesses are the easy part, though. You can kind of figure that out because the icons are the same as your skills, right? If you check out your skills, it says it does 2 times rend damage and has this little sword icon, right? So if the enemy has a sword icon below it, I can kind of guess it's probably weak to rend damage. So that's the easy part. I can figure that out somehow. But if there's a skill that's called, I don't fucking know, like Iron Claws, and it does a slash animation on itself, and there's no damage and no anything happening, I can just not guess anything. Like there's now an icon that's maybe a fist, so if I'm lucky, maybe that's bonus attack, but I'm not sure. Like there's so many icons and you never really know what it means because there's a shit ton of different effects for everything. Like there's the easy ones like regeneration. Like everybody can figure out regeneration, right? That's easy. But then you got like the dodges, like true dodge. What does that mean? Probably gonna have 100% dodge rate. Yeah, but for how long is it? Does it end with turns? Or many enemies I figured out have like this state where they're just not getting any damage, and that's not limited by turns. Like they're just receive 0 damage until you hit them twice. So I was standing there trying to block and not attack, right? Do other things as to not run into a 0 damage attack. Right? Like you need a lot of time to figure out these things because they're not explained anywhere, and there are many states that are just so obscure. I was just never able to figure them out because the icon is not clear enough. Hey, what does this specific icon mean? It could mean anything. So I was clueless most of the time. I don't even think. I think the the tutorial explains the execution part well, like how the timing window works and everything, but it fails to give you the information you need for the strategic part of the game. Like what attacks to use and when to do this and that. Like it withholds all this information, but the game still wants you to do an educated guess at what to do without telling you anything. And that's, I think, was my problem. Not so much the execution part. Like I can hit the timings fairly well, and I can get the flow particles fairly well, but I still don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Like sometimes I'm dealing massive damage, sometimes I'm dealing 0 damage, and I don't know what the fuck's going on. So, and it's not consistent either. It's not like you're not supposed to always hit the timing and always collect the flow. Because that would be logical, right? Always try to hit your timings because that's what you do. No, that's not how the game works. Sometimes you want to hit the timing, sometimes you don't want to hit the timing, and sometimes you want to hit the flow, and sometimes you don't want to hit the flow. So you can't even guess what to do because sometimes it's this and sometimes it's that.
It's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling, is it?
It makes no sense. Like, why is this even here at that point?
All right, so okay, so we one thing about this game, and this is to the audience. Each action has 2 different versions.
Yeah.
Whether you're attacking, dodging, or using a skill, there's 2 different versions. It's called a Omega version, I believe. Like,
yep.
So if you notice on the screen when you get in the battle, there's a weapon sliding. It's a timing thing. It scrolls down. Then it gets to the point where it starts like flashing with lightning. That's the Omega version. Like, for example, the healing ability, if you do it without the flashing lights, it heals everybody. But if you do it with the flashing lights, it, I believe, restores your brave or whatnot, and it does something. It reduces the cost of the
I
nets.
think the simplest thing was like the blocking, right? If you don't hit the timing, it just guards. If you hit the timing, it doesn't guard, but it gives you a small heal instead.
But that's not for everybody.
Of course it's not.
Every and this is the uniqueness about the game. And you know, I can see where it becomes an exercise. When you play a standard RPG Maker game, right? The guard function works for everybody unless they have a passive connected to that guard. You know, like a paladin. If you guard with a paladin, he may if a low ally, person low in HP, he may just take the damage for that ally, whatnot.
Yeah, it could be anything really. Yeah.
In this game, every character is different. Even the guard mechanic, everybody is different.
Which is fine.
And this is going to mind boggle a lot of people. I agree.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the issue really. Like I don't hate the system. The system could be fine.
It's I agree. Now I don't think that's the issue at all. What it is, it has a deep learning curve even for a beginning tutorial.
Yeah, it's not really a tutorial.
You're giving the player so much information where it's kind of hard. You have to include it because that's part of your battle system. But if you give all the information at one time, the tutorial is going to be a lot longer than what it is if you're explaining each and every mechanic. Like all the icon, if You get the icon book when you go to the Lancia. When you go to the Lancia, you get the icon book, and when you read that icon book, it is a heck of a lot of information. It ain't like playing a regular RPG Maker game where you see a poison, and you already know poison is just going to. In this game, poison could be, if you're poisoned, you lose brave, all that. It's a paragraph worth of descriptions. So
Yep.
if the developer gives all this tutorial, like about the icons in the beginning, it's going to be like a 3-4 hour tutorial. Like real talk. It's going to be a 3-4 hour tutorial. So I don't know. Maybe he could limit what the player should know until you get to that point where, okay, I need to learn about this and that. Now you gave me the tool to learn about these icons in this book, so there's no excuse for me not to know or have an idea what they are, because now you're directing me to get the knowledge.
I think the problem is the balancing, actually.
Okay.
Like the way the game works, I thought it was fine tutorial wise. Like I understood the concept of having two different like variants of the same skill. I got that. I understood. I understood that the flow lightning thingies let me do like ultimate attacks and give me bonuses based on how many I gather of each color. They only introduced the red color in the tutorial, but gave you different colors anyway, like 2 battles later, and you have no idea what they do. But okay, I guess.
You talking about the flow, correct?
Yeah. The tutorial tells you about the red ones, right? They increase your damage, and if you got enough of them, you can do like Begonia's ultimate attack thingy. But after you kill the bridge and fight in the mines, you already have green ones too, but they're never explained. So, do I gather them anyway? Do I gather red and green, or should I only gather red? Or if I gather a green one, do I get less of the red ones? Like, it's not explained. It's not on the HUD anyway either. Right? So you don't know how many flows you have. You don't know which ones you have. And Birdburn says that's to increase the skill ceiling. I'll say it's bullshit. Because I should know this is not a fighting game. And even if it was a fighting game, it would be on the screen 100% of the time in any decent fighting game. If you had a mechanic where you had to gather orbs, it would be on the screen which orbs you have.
I'm going to take a crack at this. I did not understand what the flow was either until I kind of got further into the game and got a better understanding about certain mechanics. I may be wrong. If Bird Bunch is still watching, let me know if I'm wrong or whatnot. I might be wrong.
Yeah, who knows?
The red orbs increases your attack, right?
Yep.
So
that's in the tutorial. Yes.
I'm thinking the green is your endurance.
Could be.
The blue is your spirit. It increase your magic.
Could be. Yes.
Yellow increase your speed. These orbs are random, so maybe getting that. Do you want to sacrifice a red orb, getting the red orb to increase your physical attack, or do you want to use the next skill, or do a regular skill depending on what type of battle you're in or what move you have to do.
But
So
it's never explained how the flow
yeah,
orbs actually work.
it's not it's yeah it only one didn't explain. Only one
The way
explained,
the
which was the
tutorial
red one.
explained it was like, I need multiple flow orbs in order to do the ultimate. So
Mm-hmm.
now my question is, I now have 3 different colors of orbs in the tutorial. I don't know what the other ones do. Red and I know red, but I don't know green and I don't know blue. It's not explained, so I don't know. So am I supposed to collect all of them? Do they all stack separately from each other, or can I only stack red ones at a time? And if I get a green one, do I lose a red one? I don't know. It's not explained. It's not shown anywhere on the screen either. So I don't know how many I got. I don't know how they work. And I can't figure it out because I'm never aware on the screen of how many I got. If I had like a orb meter, I could figure it out because then I could go and collect 2 red ones and then collect a green one to see what happens, right? If I lose a red one or if I'm just getting an extra green one, I can't figure it out because that information is never given to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't even figure it out if I wanted to.
According to Bird Bunch, if it's not explained, you don't need it until the rest, later on in the game.
Yeah, but why is it in the game then? Why do I have access to green and blue orbs in the tutorial if I'm not supposed to know how they work? If they're not relevant, why do I have access?
He got a point.
Why do I have access to skills I cannot possibly figure out because I don't have access to the skill that interacts with the stances?
I mean,
why is this there?
That's my understanding of it. Like I truly don't really understand the flow as good as I think I do. If that makes sense.
So Barbara, tell me, how can you possibly figure it out? Like you have no information given. How are you supposed to figure out if, let's say, I collect 2 red orbs and then a green one? How am I supposed to know if I lost the red one or if I just gained a green one? Like, where is that information? How can I access that? How can I possibly know? And players should be rewarded for handling your mechanics well, not for guessing your unexplained system. Pattern recognition doesn't tell me anything. I know I get a red one and a red one and then a green one. And I know I need multiples for the ultimate attack, but can I just collect all of them? Do they just stack? I don't know, because there's no information on that. Do I lose a green one if I pick up a yellow one? Or do I just... Is there a maximum amount of orbs I can get? I don't know. It's not explained. You cannot figure this out. And you shouldn't be rewarded for just kind of guessing. Like, if you make a game, you gotta explain the rules to your player. Like, that's how games work.
Facts.
If you don't explain the rules, ain't nobody gonna play the right way. That's why you got people stacking draw force in Uno because they didn't read the rules. Theory crafting only works if you have the information necessary. It's like you keep telling people to just guess. There's no guessing. Theory crafting always works with every information available. There's no theory, there's no guesswork in Street Fighter. You have access to every button input right from the get-go. There's no hidden button. There's no hidden combos. There's not a single combo, as far as I'm aware, that's not in the game, accessible for you to watch and train. So I don't know, like withholding information is not how games work. At least not in my opinion. There might be hidden things, like I don't know, a certain amount of iframes or a certain animation canceling or whatnot that may not be explained, sure. But every fucking combo you can do is pretty much in the game, I'm sure.
I won't necessarily say that the player can't be successful, but the knowledge is definitely is not there to make that.
It's a two-part problem for me. Like, not only is the information not given, but the game expects me in the tutorial already. Like the game works like you're not ranking up from like bronze to silver to gold. The game expects you in the tutorial to already be platinum. You will not be able to defeat the little, that's on screen right now, the little skull enemies. You can't defeat that unless you play the game perfectly.
Yeah.
And you know how it works. Yeah. In the tutorial.
Yeah, they're gonna be pretty much invincible unless you know.
Exactly. There's no room for error.
Yeah, they can actually
in the tutorial.
You. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how the game feels to me. The game wants me to be a platinum player in the tutorial.
In all fairness, though, the developer did say this isn't like your ordinary turn-based. This is actually a game that requires skills.
Oh, this is a game that required somebody to have played it already. It's like you're not gonna beat anyone in Street Fighter 6 that has already played it, right? You're not, as a new player, you're starting out in the low ranks. You're playing against people that are as shit as you. They have no clue. They're just button mashing. And you can play the offline mode too. Right? There's room for error. There's room for experimentation, and you're still gonna have some form of success, even if you have no idea what the fuck you're doing. In this game, though, you're being screwed right from the get-go unless you're already platinum rank. And I think that's like the second part of the problem. Still there?
I'm here.
Yeah, you're here. All right. Because people have been saying mic check, mic check.
I was checking because they were saying YouTube chat ain't showing. So.
Oh yeah. The on-screen chat, if you look at that, it's just like really screwed.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix it. But... Okay, Ace of Aces is showing.
Okay. There we go. Yeah.
So. I don't mind a game that's have a great difficulty in the learning curve. Mana Raiders was a game that has a different battle system, a great learning curve, but people did not perceive it because...
No, I don't think it has a great learning curve. Like, even if you take Zolo's Nightmare, for example, that game is much better.
It actually does. In a way,
I mean, it's hard, yeah.
Because the description is just you're getting so much, to understand, to the point where, hey, how did I do that? You probably did a skill. I don't know,
man. We played Zola's Nightmare without a tutorial.
I'm talking about.
We both did. Yeah. Mana Raiders is essentially the same system. That's why I'm taking Zola's Nightmare, because it's more Zola's refined there.
Yep. Zola's Nightmare is different.
We played that with no tutorial, and we still did fine.
Yeah.
Because everything made sense.
But I didn't know what the heck I was doing, though. I didn't know what none of the cards did.
Yeah, sure. Of course. That's how you start out.
In all fairness, it is a tech demo, so I wasn't expecting the player to know this or know that in a tech demo. You know, we're just being guinea pigs at that time.
Yeah,
But
but
this is a
we
full.
both figured out how it works.
But this, well, in a way, kind of. This game, you're not going to figure it out unless you're being told to.
Yeah, and that's what I think is problematic. Like, you're not being told to, and it's on purpose. And it makes no sense to me. Like, you have all this screen cluttered with fucking icons. Like, just remove the HUD at this point. Like, seriously, you don't need no HUD because there's zero information given.
You need a HUD.
No, you don't need a HUD. For what?
To see where the weapon time goes.
Yeah, you need that, and maybe the 4 buttons on the bottom right. You don't need no state icons, you don't need no shield icons, and nothing else because none of it makes any sense. You just got a bunch of icons you've never seen before that made no sense to you, that are not explained anywhere. Why is it shown to me? Like, why is it there?
So will you agree that the developer could fix this by giving the player the book in the beginning instead of waiting?
No, absolutely not.
How can they fix it?
If I get that book at the beginning, I'm refunding immediately because what the fuck, man? That's too much. That's too much.
Then what?
The tutorial pacing is really fine as it is. Like, except for the repeating tutorials for some reason. Like, some of them are just repeating, like, across battles. I don't know why, but it's fine. Like, the game explains the mechanics well enough. Right? In the tutorial, I felt I was getting it. I got the timing, I got the flow, kind of understood, and each form of the skills. The problem is, you start with one character that has 2 skills. That is fine. Like, I can kind of figure that out. I can block. I can kind of self-heal with the Omega version. I have a regular attack that has an Omega version that makes it impossible for the enemy to counter, and I have 2 skills on top of that, which are 4 skills because each have 2 versions, right? So we got like 7 skills in the tutorial. And then we get a second character that has 6 skills times 2 with stances that are not explained. And we got 50 different states in the tutorial that are not explained. And that's where my problem starts. Like, you're explaining the execution part really well, but everything else sucks. Like, you're making a turn-based game without information, but you expect me to make an informative decision on what to do.
That's deep.
And that's my problem with the game. It's like, the execution part, fine, cool, give me the timing, give me the stress and whatnot, all fine and dandy. But you're failing at the strategy part of a turn-based RPG. That's what I think.
So, the icons are your issues.
Yeah, the icons, the general lack of information.
And the overwhelming, the overwhelming of the alpha skills, and getting another character without the ability to learn the first character.
It's too much. The game was fine when it was just Begonia. I was still learning that because Begonia has 7 skills in total. That's a lot.
So
for me just starting out. And now I have a second character that has 14 skills with stances that are not explained, and now I'm overwhelmed.
So you didn't get to the Zizus?
No, I stopped at the spider because it took me 2 hours to get there.
With the third player, with Melody?
No, I didn't even get there. I would have stopped there. I cannot control 3 characters in that short amount of time. Like, how the fuck is gonna get that? I'm in the tutorial, man. How am I gonna control 3 characters as quick as you want me to?
Will you say
I'm just gonna fail all the timings.
Will you agree that this game isn't for the weak?
I don't think the game is balanced well in that regard. It's just, sure, I get it. It's a skill issue. You can call it that all day long. Sure it is. But you're not getting platinum in Street Fighter in the first day first time playing a Street Fighter game.
So how will you think? All right, so let's talk about how this game is going to attract new players. Let's talk about like new players that's going to get this game, not veteran. So
New players are gonna get this game because it looks good.
it looks good. Yep, it
And they're
looks
gonna
good.
be majorly disappointed as soon as they start playing.
So you think it's going to be too overwhelming? And you're a ace player. I would say that you are a S player. You know, you're good at games.
Yeah, I'm good at games in general. I'm not the fastest, probably.
but
I would probably not perform like too well in like Street Fighter in ranked matches. I don't know, maybe with practice, but I'm not a fan of the genre, so I never did. The thing is, the onboarding of the player just sucks. It's too much, too quick, and too little information given. And yes, as I said, you can call it a skill issue, sure. But how am I supposed to get that skill? Like I'm not buying like Tekken or Street Fighter, right? I'm not buying that and jumping into the platinum rank games. Because that's not where my skill level is. I just started the game.
so how you feel about the tutorial that you can do before you could play the game? You think that's a good idea to like, hey, before you play this game, here's a tutorial room with all the characters you can get in the game.
No, that's never good.
Here's everything that you're gonna. Then don't get me wrong. Like when I was playing the tutorial with Varys before I ended the stream and saw all those skills, I said, "Holy smokes! There's no way I could focus." Like there was no way. The animations look good and stuff like that, but you literally would have to sit down and study this character to really, not even just Varys, but other characters on how they perform.
Yep.
So
and that's how the tutorial in the game works already. Like you're not gonna get anywhere. I have stopped multiple times in the tutorial just to reading these fucking descriptions. And that's fine for somebody. Like if you play a competitive game against people, that's normal. That's expected. If you wanna rise in the ranks, you gotta get sweaty with it, right? You gotta read everything. You gotta read the patch notes. What's buffed? What's nerfed? What does this do? What does that do? But you're not doing that after picking up the game for the first time. That's not how it works. You're not gonna start League of Legends and play like a diamond player. That's not how it works.
yeah,
Like, even if you have played Dota back in the day, you're not gonna pick up League for the first time and be a diamond player. Not in most cases.
I don't think
Never.
the developer is expecting you to be a diamond player in the beginning.
That's how the game feels to me. Like the tutorial is like that already. Either you perfectly already know the mechanics or you just gonna die in the tutorial.
So, do you sympathize when Drifty?
It's not only Drifty though, it's everybody.
Do you sympathize when Drifty said, "I don't know how to win. I can't beat this guy"? Do you sympathize with him?
Absolutely, man. I'm sympathizing with everybody, and it's consistent. Like no matter who you ask, everybody has given the same consistent feedback of this HUD is too cluttered.
My God.
This is not enough information. This is too quick. This is too much. Like it's been consistent no matter who you've been asking. And it's a skill issue. Yeah, sure it is, but maybe you're expecting your new players who don't know jack shit about you or your game a little bit too much about the mechanics nobody has ever seen before.
All right.
Just saying.
So there's no leveling in this game. And when I first played Kendrick Nova, I said, I don't feel like the game is rewarding because, one, we don't get experience points. It don't feel like the battles are worth it. You know what I'm saying? Because what's the point of fighting? You're not getting in no experience. You're not leveling up. none of that. You know what I'm saying? But the
Yeah,
developer said, you know what?
it's a
The
skill issue.
player levels up. The
Yeah, I
player
call that
the player
BS
gets
as well.
experience. The player gets experience. The player gets better. And don't get me wrong. When I first played it, it was good. I didn't know what I was doing. But once you start knowing what you're doing, especially running, I didn't learn as good in regular mode. I got better in rogue mode. In rogue mode, that's when I started understanding the game better. Don't know why, but
Yeah, because
maybe
you spend probably more time reading the skills of
reading
everybody
skills,
before
and
you
you're
even play.
constantly in battles. You're not in
Yeah,
between
yeah.
dialogue. You're constantly in battles, and you get to actually play around with the different abilities, different weapons, different skills in order to win. Now, when you playing dialogue, and it feels like the battles are, evented. You know what I'm saying? I don't think enemies respawn or whatnot. I haven't got to like an open world part, you know, now where you could just grind battles. I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I
so
get that. And of course, you're gonna get there eventually. Like, you're gonna figure it out. If you really got nothing else to do with your life than figuring out Starscribed, you can do that. Sure. But is that really something you should strive for? Like, not even Dark Souls
if
does
new
that.
players can't handle some failure, they are welcome to play the seat of other games.
Yeah, of other standard RPGs, Starscribed is a standard RPG too. Like, the only thing that's different is a little bit of the combat system. Like, the rest of the game is standard
You
RPG,
think it's
pretty much.
standard?
Yeah, sure. Like, the story mode, what's different? Like, you got no leveling, but if you go on the RPG Maker forums, every third game has no leveling. What you talking about? That's standard.
Okay.
So it's the combat that's different, and that's the main selling point. Sure, I get it. And it's fun. Like, it's not a bad system. It's just the HUD and the information lack and it's a skill issue. Like, I don't know, man. I've not seen a single person that was like, oh man, I totally understand whatever the fuck is happening on the screen with all these
I
icons. I've
think
not
it's
seen a single one.
I think it's genius.
It's a good system. And I want to like it, but I can't.
Why can't you like it? Because of the
Because there's no information given. Right? The mechanics are explained, the execution part is explained. But the rest is not. Like, the turn-based part is not explained. Right? It just shows you some kind of skill and it does an animation, but what does it do? We don't know. And you have a service skill, but that doesn't tell you jack.
So do you feel like while you was playing this game, you basically was button mashing? Basically, it felt like you was
Oh no,
doing
I
that.
was trying not to. Like, the starting enemies were relatively fine, right? The introduction was good with the little glass tails and the skull enemies. Right? The skull enemies made for a good tutorial because you cannot beat them unless you do the mechanic. Right? That's okay for like a tutorial thing. Like, okay, you're getting used to this, the shield breaking stuff. That's fine. But then you have this harpy enemy that's just like doing things and you never really know what it does. It's not attacking you really, except like every 12 turns or some shit like that. So I don't know, man. It's just a lack of information. Like, the HUD is so cluttered and so full with stuff that's just not necessary to be there because there's no explanation on it. Right? Like, this enemy has like 10 icons on it, and I'm like, okay, but what it do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the combat log is absolutely fucking useless. I don't even know why you didn't remove it because that shit doesn't tell anyone anything. Like, it's too quick to read. I only see the skill name on it, and that's it. Like, that's zero information. Doesn't need to be there. It doesn't tell anyone anything.
Kendrick novel was just the previous name Colococo. He changed the name from Kendrick novel to Starscribed. They're
Yeah.
not separate games. They're actually the same game.
Yes, it's just a name change.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I really wanted to like the game. Like, to be honest,
I
like
think you can.
no cap.
I think you have. Think you can like it.
No, absolutely not. I'm not okay with the lack of information, and I'm not okay being told like whenever something is not really fair, it's a skill issue, because that's just not true. It's like exploration in RPGs, like running around without a clue in hopes to finding something and just clicking on everything on the ground is not. It's not fun. That's not exploration. That's just randomly doing shit.
I mean, all
And
fairness.
this is looking for a needle in a haystack. Like, maybe you get lucky and figure it out, but it's not really a skill thing.
In all fairness. In all fairness, I would say this. There's other RPG games that we play. You get icons on you. You don't know what it is either.
Yeah, sometimes I guess I don't remember any. Like, the most icons we have is just a regular ass poison.
But it's just, you don't know what it does or whatnot. But it's just so simple to understand. You don't even worry about the icons. You know what I'm saying?
If it's self-explanatory, like, I can figure out a damage type, right? I can do that much.
But would it be the same
I can
thing?
figure out the sword is rend damage. I can figure that out. But I cannot figure out what a fucking farmer stance does.
So that skill should be omitted then, or just read.
The knight guy should have not had any skills that were relevant for his stance in the tutorial.
Agreed. Maybe he
not at all.
Yeah.
Just give him a skill or two, like Begonia, and have them be skills that have nothing to do with any stances. Because not only do you get a new character, you also have no time to really, like, learn the character, because you're already in battle, and I can hear you. You can use the survey, right? Sure, I'm all hyped up, beating up this fucking spider, and now I gotta sit down and study the fucking character I just got. Yeah, way to kill my motivation, man. It's like, yeah, sure.
I mean, you got to. It is a kind of a strategy game too.
But none of the strategies are explained. None of the states are explained. None of the strategy part is explained. None of it.
The player has to figure it out. Like breaking shields. If they're about to do ultimate attack.
Breaking shields is explained.
Yeah, they're about to do ultimate attack. Break their shield. Read about them. Then read your skills. That's the main key. You gotta read your skills, read your abilities.
Yeah, but not when you start a fucking boss fight, man. Come on, dude. I just went through the fog wall, right? Fucking banger boss music is playing. I'm all janked up to beat this motherfucker. And what do you give me? A fucking book? Study your fucking math. Like, what the fuck, man? That's just not right. Like, I don't know, man. That's just not right.
So how will you fix this?
I would probably dumb it down more. Like, it's fine if your skill ceiling can be as high as you want, but you want the skill floor to be low as well, to let new players in. Right? You don't want to alienate players for your stupid ass skill issues. That makes no sense. Why would you do that? You can rank up the difficulty as much as you want throughout the game. but let the player get accustomed to the game. So I would dumb it down more. I would introduce less shit in the tutorial. You can stretch out the tutorial as much as you want. It doesn't need to be a separate area. You can just throw in a new mechanic every now and then throughout the entire fucking game. So it never gets stale. The player always learns something new. Right? Just sprinkle it here and there. And let the player slowly grow to it. And then once everything is explained, you can just rise up the difficulty until they beat the fucking game. That's how I feel about it. Like when I started this game, I felt like I needed to be a platinum player just to start playing the game. And that's not right to me.
Especially fighting the Mr. Potts.
Mr. Potts,
I mean, Mr. Potts' battle could last 5 to 10 minutes if you ain't doing it correctly.
Yeah. I thought the pacing was fine, except for like all these states and stuff that's like just not explained at all. So the way I would fix it is just keep the tutorial you have, remove all the unnecessary states and whatnot, and maybe fix the fucking damage numbers, because I have no idea what the fuck they even mean anymore. Like, sometimes I'm dealing damage and sometimes I'm not dealing damage, but there's still a lot of numbers popping up, but nothing happens. Like, huh? I don't know.
Mr. Potts almost killed me too, real trying.
Oh yeah, I got burned by it too, but I think that was intentional.
You gotta be careful with those numbers. So
I don't know.
So we can both agree that you got to have at least,
you gotta have a doctor's degree and an art degree.
Yeah.
And a fucking math degree to even finish the tutorial.
Yeah, you gotta have. I mean, it is a lot of information. Now,
and you gotta be a master player at speed chess, because otherwise you're not gonna handle three characters.
You gotta,
at once.
yes. Especially, I felt overwhelmed fighting that bat, even with 3 characters.
Yeah, I like, no matter who I talk to about this game, everybody has said the same things. Like, it's too much, it's too fast, it's too hard to get into.
But that's the thing, you don't know. Once you know your characters, it's not bad anymore.
Yeah, but look, man, I played 2 hours, right? I spent 2 hours trying to figure out one character. And then I got a second one tossed at me with 12 skills. Do I really want to struggle learning the second character? Like, I'm not even invested in the game yet. Like, I'm not even a fan yet. Like, do I really want to do that? Or am I just gonna pick up another game? Burburn says he's fine with that, so I guess if that's fine, in my opinion, there is no reason to alienate new players other than get good. What's the point of that? Why would you want people not play your game?
I think his approach is he's trying to be different.
Well, different can still be shit though. Hey, what's the point of that?
You know, and no matter what the cost is, he's willing to, to stand his ground and have his game as is. I
understand all that, but my suggestions don't stop that. It's not mutually exclusive. There's no problem lowering the skill floor for the game. Like, it doesn't impact the game any way negatively. It's just allowing more players to getting into it.
Maybe he don't want those players. Maybe he just wants.
Yeah, well then I guess we just all suck at gaming. I guess it's fine too. I've not seen a single person playing this game and being amazed, aside from how it looks. Like, everyone says it's amazing. Yeah, it looks amazing, and I'm sure the gameplay could be amazing after 50 hours too. But nobody gonna spend that time.
Levesis played this game and loved it.
Yeah, everybody does. If you played it and loved it, you played it and loved it, but everybody criticizes the same things as well, if they criticize it at all.
That's deep.
So I'm just saying, like, I really wanted to like this game because I like the character and I really like how the fuck it looks. Right? But the fucking skill floor is so high for no reason.
I mean,
like, what's the reasoning behind that? Why do I have to take an elevator to get to the skill floor?
it's RPG Maker.
Yeah, you can do whatever the fuck you want. That's fine, I guess. Yeah, sure. If you want to do it, nobody's stopping you. And nobody can stop you. And my criticism won't stop you. And nobody else's will either. But then I wonder, why do you want people to review your game? If any criticism you receive is met with skill issue, why the fuck do you want feedback?
I won't really say it's not really that. It's really not that hard. It's just some people have a different learning curve than others. Like, some people can understand instructions better than others. Let's just say that. If that
I understood
was the case,
instructions, I didn't understand the stuff that had known.
No, I'm not saying you per se. I'm just saying, like, just people in general. Some people are slow learners. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, and some people suck at timed inputs. I get that all the time from some people.
Yeah, even people complain about your game. You know, oh, the time input, I wish it never had it. But that's...
I mean, I wish it never had it is different from it's too hard.
They felt like it was too hard.
Yeah, so what do? I make it easier.
Wish you
because
did.
I want
people
to play my game.
You had a character. I'm talking about the Jam game. You created a character that didn't need the time inputs.
Yeah, but that's different. That's a Jam game, right?
Yeah,
the
but
Jam game should have been playable by absolutely everybody. Origins is not gonna be like that. I'm not gonna make a mode where there's no timed inputs. That's not gonna happen. The game will have timed inputs, but I'm willing to bend a little on the difficulty, because if everybody tells me this is too hard, without fail, everybody says this, then it's too hard, no matter what I think about it. Because at the end of the day, it's gonna be easy for me because I made the fucking thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
But if 10 out of 10 people tell me it's too hard, it's probably too hard.
And that's a good analogy, Bird Bunch, because you are the developer and your understanding is a lot more technical than average developers. You know, just by like your game dev and you explaining how your characters work as is, like that tutorial you did for each of your characters, especially explaining Varys. He is hard as a mamma jamma to control, but you as a developer knows the ins and outs of the game. So is it fair? Is it fair to say that, you know, it's not that hard aiming towards other players who may not have that understanding? Because like we said, somebody is going to get this game because of how it looks. It looks amazing. For RPG Maker game, it looks really good. You know what I mean? The
battlers looks good in general.
Battlers look amazing and everything.
Yeah,
there are people who master the game. Yeah, of course. But not everybody is going to be on that same level. But
that's exactly my point, though. Like, of course there are people pinning for more. Of course there are. There always are people who gonna like whatever you do, even if you do a fucking, I don't know, poop fetish game. There are gonna be people who are pinning for more. That's okay. But those people who already like your game are not gonna like the game less because you made the game easier to get into for new people.
And I don't
Right? It's
think
not a detriment to lower the skill floor. It's not detrimental to the game. That's my entire point. Nobody's gonna hate your game because you somehow let new players in easier than before. Reach a point of yeah, mine. That's the other point I made. Like, I don't see you pandering to anything I said, whether it was my first review or the second review. Everything I say is met by skill issue or pandering. And if that's how you react to any of the feedback I spend hours giving to you with it's a skill issue, then don't fucking request a review. If you don't want feedback because it's a skill issue, then don't let people give you feedback on it. If you already set your mind on this is how it needs to be, and I'm not gonna change it for no matter what, you don't need no feedback on it.
that makes sense too. That makes sense too. But Bird Bunch may not want the feedback. He may just want to see how different people play. That way he could make adjustments.
Yeah, but why submit it to a review then?
This is already in his mind. This is already in his mind to make a Souls like a hard game. You know, this is a dream project.
Yeah,
so it's kind of hard.
If that's what you want to do,
it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to change what he has envisioned.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fine.
So the question is he willing to stoop down and make adjustments so people won't be like, oh my God, what's all these icons for? Why this is not being explained? Since we already in the tutorial anyway, you know, why not? Some people just make a quick, you know, show picture of or show text of certain icons in certain states. What's going on?
I think that would blow it out of proportion. I don't think that will work. The tutorial is already over 2 hours long.
Then what?
We don't really need more. You need to remove stuff from the tutorial.
That's impossible.
It is possible. Just make
based on his
enemies.
battle system, he can't do it.
He can do it. Like, you don't need to start the tutorial with an enemy that gets 12 different states. You can just have 3 different ones in the tutorial zone.
Just change the enemies.
Just have enemies that have like 2 weaknesses, and the shield is generally present anyway, so that's fine. So the enemies could have like 1 attack buff and I don't know, maybe a defense buff or whatever mechanics you have, but limit them to like 2 or 3, so the player has time to get accustomed to how everything generally works. And you can tutorialize things across the entirety of the game.
Until
you don't need to explain everything at the start. Why?
Until you get the book, correct?
You don't need the book. You can put the book anywhere. It doesn't matter.
You do need that book.
But you wouldn't. You can slowly increase the complexity of the game. Right? You start out in a tutorial, there's like 2 or 3 different states and mechanics you need to learn during that tutorial. And you need to learn about the timings and the Omega versions and the flow. So what you do is you introduce the timing and the Omega versions. You introduce the flow with a single color flow. Just so the player has time to grasp it. right? And then you make enemies that have like the skull enemy, right? That's a
Uh-huh.
pretty decent one. It's pretty much invincible unless you break it,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's a good enemy. And maybe keep the glass tails too. No need for the mini boss. That's fucking useless. That didn't teach me shit. Right? I just happened to do the right thing and almost one-shotted.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what I did. Game didn't tell me anything. So aside from, well, break it and then do damage. But yeah, I was already doing that, but apparently not enough. So I didn't learn anything from the mini boss. I don't think it needs to be there. It's not an interesting fight either. Like, it's just buffing itself to infinity anyway. Oh, and that's how you structure it throughout the game. Like every other area, you just introduce like a new mechanic, a new state, and new tools to get around that state. So you'd introduce the night guy with 2 skills, so the player can get accustomed to the night guy. And then in the next area, you give him more skills and start introducing the stances.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, in the next area, you introduce 2 new states and 2 new mechanics, and so on and so forth. You can do this the entire game. Just increase complexity slowly, so the player can always feel like they understand how the game works, instead of just throwing everything out there and go, bitch, eat it up, or get the fuck out. That's what I think, at least. And if that's not what Birdie want to do, that's fine as well. I'm just saying I don't see the drawback of lowering the skill floor to let more people in. You can still keep the skill ceiling as high as you fucking want to.
Understood. I mean, that is a great suggestion. You know, kind of making the enemies a standard and increasing the difficulty of the complexities of the battles as the player, you know, at least grasp what he's doing. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. It's a simple sentence, really. Like, in my opinion, a game should always be easy to play and hard to master if you want to make it challenging. But Starscribed is hard to play and even harder to master.
Oh man.
So in my opinion, that just keeps players away for no reason. And yeah, I don't think that's how you should do it. But if you want to do it that way, sure, go ahead. I don't have to play it. I would have liked to, but I don't have to. I have like 200 other games, I guess.
So, would you bought this game or refunded it?
I refunded it. Absolutely.
That's not good.
I have no other choice, right? I wouldn't even know if I have the time to refund it, right? Because the tutorial is already 2 hours. So I already passed my refund window without really learning how to play the game. So I would have probably stopped sooner and just refunded it, because it's just too much. Like, I don't know. It's too hard to get into for being a video game.
Lord
Yeah,
have mercy.
as Birdie already said, there are players who just want to have it like that, and sure, if that's enough players for you, if you don't want any other people to play it, then go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like this is a game that definitely should be experienced by everyone. You know, beginner player or advanced player.
I don't think so.
I think so.
No, if you're not looking for a single player game where you have to be sweaty like a PvP game, I would not recommend this game. Because you gotta be a sweaty, salty guy to play this game successfully. If you're just trying to get some entertainment out of it after your fucking hard day of 12-hour shifts, you're not gonna like this one because you're gonna be frustrated and you're not gonna finish the tutorial.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
But there are people like that, right? I'm not much different. I can only like cite Dark Souls all the time, but Dark Souls is generally considered a challenging game. And I fucking love it. I have 1,000 hours in Dark Souls 3 alone. So I don't know, but I never felt like overwhelmed, right? Dark Souls combat is super fucking simple. You have a light and a heavy attack, and you have a dodge roll, and now go and get him, Tiger. Super simple stuff.
But this is RPGs. Well,
Yeah,
Dark Souls
this
is an
is
action. It is an RPG.
yeah. This has like really fast stuff, right? You're always on a timer, so you gotta think and push buttons fast like an action game. But you're also supposed to make strategic turn-based decisions without having all the information you would get in any other turn-based game.
I think the player can. I think the most important part in this game is learning the shields and to break them.
I thought so too.
So
yeah.
once the player mastered that mechanic, I think they'll be fine. And reading the descriptions to break the shields.
Well, I wasn't fine. What can I say? Like, I understood that breaking the shields is like the main thing you should be doing. I understood that, but all the other mechanics on top of it just made it too hard.
I think what the issue is with some players, and I noticed it in Drifty's game, I noticed it in Real Tron's game when he played this, is the timing.
And it only gets worse the more characters you have.
Some people feel like they don't have a lot of time, even if they do like take their time, it's just going to be so slow because it's scrolling so slow. You know, watching Real Tron play this game, I fell asleep because he was playing so slow.
I don't even know how you can play slow. Like, you also have to swap between characters, if I saw it right. You can't just go left to right because Begonia is slower than the Night Guy. Night Guy is faster than the third guy, you know? So it's not really that you can go from left to right. Like, they're having all different timings.
Yeah.
So you gotta input everything perfectly. You need to be in a state where you know the skills of your characters without thinking.
Yeah.
And you gotta do that in the tutorial. Like, you need to know Begonia's 2 skills in and out. From the tutorial on. And then you get a second character that has 12 skills. So the thing you do right after the spider boss fight is learning that shit. And I just don't see how that's fun. I don't know. There is a satisfaction. Like, I get what he's saying with the player levels up, right? I get it. There is a satisfaction in mastering stuff. Right? And that's what he's trying to go for. That makes sense. But that makes sense a lot in mostly PvP games. Right? If you're just genuinely fucking better than your enemy, if your understanding of the game is better than your enemy, you feel good because you wipe the fucking floor with him. And I don't think you should be necessarily already be a master at the game starting in the tutorial. Don't know. I feel good when I beat a boss in Dark Souls. I feel that it's satisfactory. I feel I'm pretty good. I did my positioning well. I did my dodging rolls well. And I also play PvP in Dark Souls, which is also satisfying because if you positioning yourself well and play these mind games, you're gonna mop the floor with your enemies. Mm-hmm. It's satisfactory. I get it. But it's also kind of not the type of game you're making here. I don't think so. Like, it's a turn-based RPG with a story attached, and with a heavy dialogue story attached to that. I don't think it meshes well with what you're going for. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just repeating myself at this point.
Well, one thing I can say, this game isn't for the weak.
Yeah,
Not saying
sure.
that
You
the
gotta
person
be
that's
really what's it called? Ah, fuck. I don't know. You keep going. I don't know. I forgot the word.
Yeah, like when you play this, you're gonna be in it for a learning curve. Like, I'm not even lying. Even if I was Bird Bunch, and I know he's not gonna, anything I say is not gonna be changed or whatnot. What I would do is, one, make all your battles relevant to what the player needs to know, what you're trying to show the player. The player should just be focused on the timing, the omega attacks, the abilities, and the breaking of the shields. Like, step at a time, one step at a time. Don't even worry about the flow stuff until, like, we get a point in the game where the flow matters. Because when we learn flow,
we're beating up a bridge.
when we learn flow in the game, it doesn't make sense when you learn it. It's like something like that. Maybe you got a crystal. Maybe you got an item in the game that, okay, it's a magical crystal that can aid you in your abilities, in your battle, and the flow meter, the flow pops up here and there. Maybe it could be introduced like that. But I do agree with Harlequin. When you get a red flow, we understand the red is like for increasing attacks and learning begonias, you know, learning doing ultimate stuff. And there's other colors after that. Even when you look in the menu, you see the flow order. They're different colors. So the player,
know what they do, and it doesn't matter. Like, he said it on my stream, right? The other colors are not relevant yet, so
but
that's like one of my hard point critiques. Like, why the fuck is it there if it doesn't matter?
Yeah, I definitely can agree with that. If it don't matter, it don't need to be in the game. So maybe just program it where the red just come and go to get the player. Okay, here's a red one. Oh, what's this green one? What does it do? You know, you eliminate that. You know, even if they're master platinum player, you know, how they're gonna know if there's no type of tutorial on that.
I mean, he said apparently some people have figured it out even though there's zero information available in the entire game. So I'm guessing they're just stumbling on it by accident, figuring it out, like finding a hidden passage randomly because you hit every fucking wall in the room. Right? You just found it by chance. It's not a skill issue. You just stumbled on it by accident. So people are being rewarded for figuring out the flow mechanic on accident. There is no skill involved. You can't tell me that is skill. Like learning the different colors and how the flow stacks, even though it's not explained and it's not visible anywhere in the game.
It might be skills.
That is not skill. How is it skill? How does it involve skill? In what way?
Knowledge.
Yeah, but what knowledge? There is no knowledge. There is no information in the game. How did you gain that knowledge? As I said, like you learn that you need multiple flow orbs in order to perform the ultimate. That's explained with the red orbs. Right? Red orbs increase your attack, and you need to gather multiples. You're not told how many or what the maximum amount of flow is you can have, but you're told you need multiples for the ultimate. Okay, cool, got it. And now all of a sudden there is a green orb floating around. So if I have two red orbs and I collect the green orb, do I lose a red orb? Do I lose all red orbs? Maybe? Or do I just get a green orb too? Can I have 10 orbs? Can I have 5 orbs? Can I have 50 orbs? We don't know. It's not explained. It's nowhere in the game to be found. So somebody figuring it out happens on accident. Because they happened to have 4 red ones and then picked up a green one on accident. And now they suddenly can't use their ultimate anymore. So they figure, alright, if I pick up a green orb, I'm losing my red orbs. That is on accident. That is zero skill involved. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think there is no skill issue here. It's just accident.
That's your thoughts on that.
Yeah. I think the flow mechanic, as it is explained right now, has no skill involved in figuring it out. It's just accident. Figuring it out on accident because you stumbled upon it.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Well, my experience with the game, I felt like I
mean, you must be a master by now. You played the earlier version for like 15 hours, and you played this version for how many hours? Like again, 5, 6 hours.
You learn it. Like you actually learn how it works.
So how does it work?
But
how does the flow mechanic work with the differently colored orbs? Explain it to me, because you played 55 hours. How does it work?
He said 55 hours. I'm weak. To be honest,
the timing part and the shield break part is easy.
I gave you my answer earlier. I think the
you
different
gave
colors.
Me Jack, man.
I think the different colors represent maybe some of the stats.
Yeah. I can figure that out. But what if I hit 2 red flows and now I have a green flow? Should I get it too?
I don't know.
Or should I skip it because I'm losing a red flow? Do I lose a red flow? I don't know. It's not explained to you.
I don't think you lose anything. I think.
Yeah, you think, but do you know?
No.
Yeah, some people apparently figured it out, and I'm just wondering how. And you played at least 20 hours.
Maybe they figured it out in rogue mode.
I don't fucking know how they figured it out, but okay, I guess. But I'm saying, if they happened to figure it out, it was on accident.
And back then, when I played it, it wasn't none of this tutorial stuff. This tutorial stuff is brand new to me. Like, the prologue, it didn't take long. You was, like, literally in the cave. You was literally, like, from Begonia and in the cave fighting a spider within an hour.
Yeah, you take 1 hour and 30 minutes. I watched this stream.
Now,
don't be capping.
what stream? Today?
Yeah.
Because I was actually trying to relearn the game. Like, reading the information. That's what you're
supposed to be doing in a tutorial, yes. And it took you 1 hour and 30 minutes to reach the
original version, it won't none of that. It won't none of those tutorials like that. Mr. Potts was, there was one, but all this extra stuff.
There, yeah.
But Bird Bunch did say, blame it on people that complain.
I think the tutorial was fine, like except for the flow part, that's like not really properly explained. I think the tutorial was fine. But there is so much extra shit in there with the states and all that that is not explained. That should not be in the game at this point in time.
Uh-huh.
If you're not gonna explain it to me, don't put it there. Put it later and explain it to me. So I can actually slowly learn to master your
Okay, so
fucking game.
he could fix it by soon as the flow come up, he could have a show picture of the different flows and what they can do.
No.
Why not?
The flow was fine. It started out so good. It had one color flow, and I had time to figure out, all right, I'm gonna have to gather this flow multiple times to do like my ultimate.
But
that
he
was
can't.
a top tier explanation.
But the
That
thing
was
is,
fine.
the thing is, like the flow order on the screen, you got red, green, red, white, red.
Yeah, that came after, and
This
that's
is
the
what I'm
problem.
saying. He could have a quick show picture explaining the other colors because they're going to
No,
eventually
that's
come.
not what I think he should do.
Why not?
Because that's too much. He already has so much shit in the tutorial.
Those three different colors. So you gonna literally forget 3 different colors.
Yeah. You got all this shit already you gotta learn. You don't need to explain all the colors in the tutorial. Just skip it. Don't include the green orb in the tutorial. Don't include the white orb in the tutorial.
But it seems like the flow order is basically random.
I think it depends on the equipment you have, on the weapon.
Your equipment, so it can be random.
Yeah, just have the 2 weapons you find in the tutorial be all red. It's not that difficult.
Yeah, he could do that too. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
so
could do that
all I'm
too.
learning in the tutorial is red.
Uh-huh.
I know what red does, I know how it works. Cool, I'm fine. And later down the line, just don't include the green orb in the cave with the spider. Why is it already there? Right? So now I'm confused as to how these 2 different colors mix and match, or do they cancel each other out, and how the general collecting of this flow works. Now I'm just confused, and now I'm fighting a boss fight, and oh no, now I got a second character with 12 skills. It's too much. So just cut it out and tell me about, like, oh look, there's other colored flows as well. And then you can explain it, because now my brain is free again, right? I finished the tutorial, I got all the basics down pat. Now explain more complexity to me. Because now I'm open to it, right? I finished all the basics, and now I can ingrain into my fucking brain, alright, we got greens and yellows and white flows, and this is how it works. Cool. Learned another thing. And then let me play around with it for a while. Right? And then you include another character. And I can learn that, and then, just stack the things, but spread it out. You don't need green flow in the tutorial cave with the spider. You don't need it. You can finish it without. Doesn't need to be there. Take it slow. Let your player enjoy the game for a little bit. Like, let them in. You say that every stream, by the way.
So let me ask you this: will you pick this game back up and give it another go?
No, probably not.
Even
I played
if
it 2 times.
Huh?
I played it 2 times by now, each I think for more than 2 hours.
There's the green flow right there.
Exactly. And when I streamed it, I asked Bird Bunch about it. Right? What does this green thing do? And the explanation I got was, it's not relevant. It doesn't matter right now. So I was like, why is it there?
He's just being honest with you. Don't worry about it. Just keep playing.
Yeah, but why is it there? Why do you confuse me with that shit when it doesn't matter? Just remove it. Just don't have it there. Period. So, and the reason why I'm not picking this up again is simply because, as I said, I played this game twice, for each time more than 2 hours. And no matter what kind of criticism or feedback or suggestion I had, I was consistently met with is a skill issue. So I don't feel like I should be touching this anymore because clearly what I think about it doesn't matter, and the developer has already his mind set on how he wants to make his game. So at the end of the day, I'm just gonna say, all right, it's not my type of game then, and I'm gonna play something else. Okay, cool. So I'm not gonna pick it up again because there's no reason to.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if he now for some reason said he's gonna fix all that, I'm still not gonna pick it up again because if I do it again and I say something, it's just gonna be, oh man, is a skill issue. So on top of all these issues I'm having, I'm not feeling like my feedback is valued, so I'm not gonna do it. Right? I know now I'm not gonna like it. I wanted to, but I'm not gonna, so I'm not gonna pick it up, and that's fine. That's what he wants. That's what he wants. It's his game.
Mm. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Realtron played the game. Levexis played the game. I would like to see Iron Brew's response to this game. You know, a video game analyst like himself can definitely give true feedback. But the question is Bird Bunch going to listen to the people that played this game, or he just want to see how people react to his game? You know, no matter what, he's not going to change it unless he deems it needs to be changed or it makes sense. If he feels like your explanation makes sense, I'm pretty sure he'll make some changes here and there. If it doesn't and it requires, oh, you're not skillful enough, then he may just leave it just like that. You know,
Fine either way. That's the good thing about gaming nowadays. I don't have to play this game. Even if it's free, I can play 6,000 other free games instead.
and that is your choice. That
Exactly. That is as much my right as he has his right
he
to
has
never change his game
he
to
has
any
his
feedback.
right. He has his rights to develop, but maybe he's just so far in it's too late to stop.
Yeah, but the problem I'm having with that is that it's fine. Like you can just say so. The problem I'm having is the attitude. It's like not everything is a skill issue. Like as I said, everybody I have talked to had the same issues. And what I think is if everybody has the same problem with my game, I should probably change it because it's consistent. If just one fucking idiot says it's too hard and 9 other people having a great time, so be it. Right? The game is not for everybody, it's just one dude. But if 10 out of 10 dudes tell me the game is too hard, I think it's gonna be too hard
So
then because it's consistent.
so 10 people told you at least
No, no,
5.
no, no. I mean, I saw you play. You had struggles. Nerd Mansion had struggles. I think Bim Lounge had struggles. Ifty 2, I think Padre struggled. So that's at least 5 people who were like, man, I'm struggling with these inputs.
You cannot
So-
you cannot put me and struggle in the same sentence, sir.
I mean, you had struggles. You took
I'm
a long
D7.
ass
I'm
while
D7,
to
my
get
guy.
used to it.
I'm D7. I don't struggle.
You did struggle with the inputs, man. You took a while. So surely everybody got better over time, right? That's true for my game, and that's true for Bear Punch game.
I mean,
right?
that's true.
If you play it long enough,
even
you're gonna be good at it eventually.
even in Final Fantasy Remake, the new Final Fantasy, I'm not as fluent.
Yeah.
It's a bit learning curve as well.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because you're controlling 3 people. It's not turn based. It's action
yeah, I've
based.
seen it. Yeah,
You know, so you're definitely you could get overwhelmed as well, especially fighting these hard bosses. So
Yeah,
it could go
you
hand in
could.
hand. I think it's a learning thing. You know, this game has its own unique learning curve, which I do agree with the explanation. Don't put it in there unless you're going to explain it. I agree 100% with you.
For me, it was a thing of how long does it take the player, right? If I've seen Nerd Mansion play, I've seen you play, I've seen all these people play, and everybody of you got better over time. That's a given, right? That's a given for my game and for his game too. And I was just considering like how long does it take each person to get better. So if you're not used to the timed inputs of double slash, by the end of the first dungeon, it's too hard. Because that's what the first dungeon is for. You're supposed to be accustomed to your basic inputs. And if you're not, I made it too hard. The player needs to learn it faster. So what am I gonna do? Am I gonna put more enemies to frustrate the player? Or am I just gonna make it a little bit easier so everybody can have a good time? Like the change I made to the timed inputs was 5 frames. That's basically nothing. It's a 5-frame difference in the timed input window. And now everybody can have a better time because they don't need to spend 2 hours learning fucking double slash. It's a tiny difference in difficulty. And in my game, it's actually detrimental, quote unquote, because I cannot change the skill ceiling, right? The inputs is just gonna be that. There's no difficulty increase, right? It's always gonna have these frames where an input has to happen. So, but Bird Bunch game is different because he has a more complex system. He can stack as many complexities on top of each other as he wants to throughout the game. So there's no reason to raise the skill floor this high and have players quit the game before they finish the tutorial for no reason. Like, you can make it easy in the start and just keep piling on top of it over the game, right? So the skill ceiling is still incredibly high while still allowing new players to get used to it. Simple as that. Oh, yeah, as I said, like when 5 people told me, man, these inputs kinda hard, can't do it, I'm getting old, I don't have these reflexes. 5 people played it, 5 people told me, man, kinda hard, so I made a 5-frame adjustment. And now everybody can more or less do it well enough.
Yeah.
And I think that's worth the change. So, and that's why I said everybody I talked to about Starscribed had told me game pretty hard, UI way too clustered, there's way too many icons on the screen at all time. Like, not only have you the enemy icons, you also have your little health bars and icons on the top right side too. And you got the icons on the bottom side, and you got the turnout on the top side. Like, the screen is full with shit. And everybody who played it said that. It's too much, it's too cluttered, it's too incomprehensive. Every single person said it. Like, even when people say, oh man, this game amazing, there's always this but, the HUD is too cluttered. And I don't see why you would go and say, nah, that's a skill issue, or nah, that's fine, when it's clearly not fine.
It's a skill issue, sir. Get your game up. Get your level up. Keep practicing. You're not ready
that's
for
not
this
what
game.
I'm gonna do, because I'm not getting paid to play Starscribed. So I'm not gonna study the game, because I'm not fighting against any other player. I don't need to sweat in an RPG that's single player. There's no reason to.
But you're the Germanator, the resident German. You are that guy. You can't let a game called Kindred Novel, aka Starscribe, get to you, my guy.
I don't, man. I'm just disappointed because I really wanted to like this game.
Yeah,
Because
I get it.
I fucking love how it looks. Like not the maps, like the fucking FSM and the chibi fucking sprites, not that, but the battlers look so great. I wanted to feel like a badass beating some enemies.
I got you, man. I
But the
got you.
game doesn't let me. So I'm just a little bit disappointed.
I got you. I mean,
But yeah, I got, as I said, I got 200 games on Steam. I just gonna play something else.
but
End
all
of the day.
all in all, developer is a great person.
Yeah,
They just
I'm not really hating on a guy. Like I said, I didn't appreciate the attitude towards any kind of feedback that's just gonna be, oh, it's a skill issue. Like every time. Every damn
it's a
time.
skill issue. It's a
I
skill
don't
issue.
appreciate it, but I'm still gonna watch his Street Fighter 6 streams
It's a
because
skill
I
issue.
still like him
When
anyway.
he loses, it's a skill issue. Just type that. You having a skill
Yeah.
problem right
Yeah,
now.
that's the funny thing though. Like whenever you can hear him say that, like, "Oh man, this character is so busted," blah 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 blah.
Nah,
You should just go and say it's a skill issue,
It's
man.
you, my guy.
It's not Street Fighter, man. They balanced it perfectly,
The
man.
character is
It's just a
perfect.
skill
I'm
issue.
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they got to get a perfect. They got to beat the game.
Yeah.
Getting a perfect.
Yeah.
From start to finish on the hardest difficulty to pass this character.
Yeah, man.
I
It's
played
not
one.
Luke that's busted. It's just a skill issue.
There was this one game. Every level that was designed, the person had to be able to beat it without getting hit. I forgot the
I think
name of the
that's pretty
game.
much like, what's it called, Super Meat Boy or some shit.
I think that yeah.
That's a platformer game, but like super hard, and whenever you get hit, you're just starting at the start of the
Yeah,
room
it's a
again.
trophy for that too. Beat the game without dying. Never
Yeah,
would ever
sure.
attempt that.
Yeah, but there's an audience for it,
Yeah.
clearly, sure.
Yeah, that and the game Celeste. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Celeste, Super Meat Boy, like there's these types of games, I totally get it. If that's what you really want to do for some reason with a turn-based, story-based RP fucking G, I guess do it. I just don't see a reason to. Like Super Meat Boy is a meme and popular because it's so difficult. I don't think a story game will really go with that well.
Yeah.
Don't know, man. Maybe if it just was a roguelike mode with fucking badass characters that don't need no backstory, maybe. Like the roguelike mode seems popular, right? It's what everybody talks about. Nobody gives a shit about the story in this game. It's roguelike day, maybe. Baby, let's go fucking edge of reality. Just make that a thing instead, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like everybody expects a roguelike game to be difficult. Everybody. But nobody expects like a fucking story RPG to be this hard on the fucking player. So I don't know, mate. If I had never known the story of this game, or if I only know Edge of Reality mode without any story, just badass looking characters, that would be way dope.
And it's
Even if it
fun.
was hard, because now I'm motivated because this is a roguelike. This has to be hard. This has to be challenging. And I got all these badass looking characters. That's different. That's a different expectation.
So you think rogue?
So maybe if it was just a roguelike mode, maybe I would have liked it better even. I don't
So
know.
ditch the story mode and just focus on roguelike. Is your cup of tea?
I think so, because I think the story in this game has the short straw. Right? The battles look amazing. The battlers look great. The action sequences is awesome. The music was cool. The effect sounds were cool. Everything's cool, right? And then you have these fucking FSM chibi sprites everywhere running around. And it's kind of, when's the next battle? I want to kill the next boss, man. Give me the next dopamine hit. Right? But that's not what the game is. The game is funny, like, don't get me wrong. I really genuinely chuckled at the Mr. Potts scene when I first saw it. And, like, it has its moment, but I think the attention is spread too far away. Like, I think it would be better if you just had a really good roguelike mode with these battles. instead of doing a story nobody really needs.
Mm.
Because combat is clearly the focus of this game, right? It's like no denying.
I
I don't
disagree.
know.
I mean, story mode was okay. I mean, I like the side quests, stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, sure. But maybe
But
it's just
Rogue, they're two
if
separate games. Like they're both great. They're both great. They're both great.
yeah, but why do both? Like it's still just one guy, right?
Yeah.
Why spread yourself like thin like that?
Should have just made a separate, title.
Make an enjoyable experience with a story
Mm.
that doesn't frustrate me in the tutorial so much that I just wanna fucking quit the game. Right? A story doesn't need to be all that challenging. It just doesn't need to.
Makes
If you
sense.
want to tell me a story, then fucking tell me a story. Give me some nice gameplay. Let me feel like a fucking badass, and let me enjoy your story. If you want to have a difficulty game, then make a difficult game, and don't waste your time on like that super deep fucking story about everything.
Mm.
Like to cite Dark Souls again, they have a deep lore, sure, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for the game. Like you don't need to give one single fuck about the story in Dark Souls. It doesn't matter. You'll just have you will have the same amount of a great time if you don't care about the
You
story at
gotta
all.
watch YouTubers who break down the story to understand that.
Exactly. It doesn't matter for the gameplay, right? It's just cool bosses. You're feeling good killing these
Finding
bosses, and it
these
doesn't matter
cool
why.
items and weapons and exploring,
Yeah,
getting armor. Oh yeah, you could play. I already
yeah.
got hundreds of hours in that game.
Yeah, and you don't need to know anything about like why it is like always this cycle of flame and whatnot. It doesn't matter.
Mm.
Roguelikes is the same. Like if you're playing like Slay the Spire or whatnot, there is a little bit of like a setup, but there's not really a story. You're just collecting all these cool new cards with each run. Same for like what's the other game called? Like Dead Cells. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
not really a story there. It's just you being an absolute badass kicking all these enemies.
Yeah.
Right? Unlocking new skills and weapons along the way, new builds. That's way more interesting than a story in a roguelike setting.
Yeah.
So these two versions of the game are so separate from each other that they would make a good game apart from each other. Right? The story mode doesn't need this ultra hard combat. It doesn't need it to be successful because you already have these cool characters and cool backstories and everything. It doesn't need to be that difficult. The rogue mode, on the other hand, doesn't need the story. Right? It's just badass looking characters. They all look great, and I want to feel good kicking some butt with them. So it doesn't need the story part. Like these are completely separate games from each other.
Agreed. So we run out of time. We got to get ready to spin this wheel as well. Burr Bunch. A lot was said by Harlequin, and
Yeah, I mean, I
maybe,
had strong feelings the first time around already.
maybe, as a developer, it's not what you say or how you say it. Sometimes you gotta, listen to the people. Sometimes, if not, just stand like Harlequin said. But I do believe that he does take the feedback, but to a certain extent, and he just wanted to
Maybe.
keep a skill-based game, and
Yeah,
that's why he
that's
probably
fine.
saying the skill
That is
issue.
fine.
I don't think he's
Yeah,
like,
it's not the best reaction to have,
yeah,
I guess. Like
I
we're
understand.
always
I
talking about it
I
too,
get it.
right?
I get it. I get it. It probably make me feel a certain way too. Huh? That's how you responded to me after gave you response to. Okay, it is what it is. So
Yeah, I spent like over 10 hours on
I
Starscribed, like
def-
just playing it, right? And
definitely
now
understand, my guy.
another 2 hours giving feedback. And
Definitely.
we're joking about like who was it, like Red Genie guy over there being an absolute fucking idiot reacting to feedback, right? And this is not much different.
Yeah. But some people just got pride and joy in their project,
Yeah,
which you got,
I get that too.
you could understand. You know, especially even,
Yeah.
to my understanding, I've been associated with Bird Bunch for at least probably about 2 years. So definitely they've been grinding on this game and stuff like
Absolutely.
that. So
And you can
definitely don't
see
want
it,
to
like
take it
there's
away.
no shortage of effort in this.
Yeah, and look at the cut scenes, amazing, beautiful cut scenes. Great job. RPG Maker, unfortunately, is made on this engine. Got a little hiccups here and there. Not a lot of rigs could play this game, but definitely something to pick up and play.
I didn't have no issues.
You
Can't say
got a
like I had.
powerhouse computer though.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter for RPG Maker.
Yeah, this game is
You
different.
know, our RPG Maker games are always like on one processor, and they barely even use your GPU anyway.
The
Like it's
older, the
all
older
like
version,
processor
the older
based.
version of this game, I didn't have no hiccups or no crashes this time. But the older version, definitely, I don't care who was streaming it, you could definitely see it everywhere. But I guess those issues definitely been fixed.
You know, a game worked fine for me. Like FPS was, I had no stutters or anything. I did have a little bit of an input problem with the cards sometimes, like that some reason, and I
Oh
had like
yeah,
this
there's a bug
one
on that too.
tile.
Yeah, yeah.
And this one tile where I couldn't go to the right, but I could go past it on the left. So that was like a one-way blockage. I don't know where that came from, but that's like all the quote-unquote bugs I encountered. Like everything else worked fine as intended, I think.
You know
No
what?
lags and nothing.
Why does it say I've been streaming for 5 hours and fit 16 minutes?
I don't know. Yeah, Ace, you fucking nerd.
That's weird.
One threaded, yes.
Alright, so just like every game that we rate, how much will you pay for this game?
Nothing. As I said, I would refund it just based on the frustration I had with it.
Holy
Like,
smokes!
I could not play this game if I wanted to. Like, I wanted to play this game, but I cannot execute this combat. I just am not able to, and therefore I would refund it because it's a game I cannot play.
Dang, so he said he would he won't play,
I cannot. I literally cannot. I do not understand how most of it works, and it's too hard for me to execute. Like, I can handle 2 characters, but I think the story mode has you play up to 4 at once. I cannot execute that. I am not fast enough, so I can literally not play this game. I cannot. So my only choice is to refund it. It's like when people say they are colorblind and the game has no colorblind mode, they cannot play the game. Because they're not seeing shit, right? So what choice do they have if they cannot play it? They gonna refund it. That's just how it is. Like, no matter how cool I think the characters are, if I'm not able to progress because I am just not able, be it skill issue or otherwise, if I'm not able to play it, I can't play it.
Facts. Road mode, you can get up to 4 characters. You just gotta find like a certain item and you can summon. So you could get 3 characters. The most I had was 3.
But most of the time you play 2. Like in the story mode, you play 4 all the time. I think, right?
Yeah, but
I could not do that. I can handle 2. It's gonna be hard with 3. Maybe I can do that if I really sweaty, but 4 ain't no way. I cannot do
He said,
that.
"Ain't no way."
Ain't no freaking way.
You right, cause especially you got Varys. Right now, I got Varys, Melody, Soul, and Begonia. And Varys is a piece of work
I just could not, like, call it a skill issue. Okay, I cannot.
And Bird Bunch said that you was the only one that played Varys correctly when you played.
No way.
That's what he said. That's what he said. Harlequin was the only one that played him correctly.
I know how he works, but I did not play it correctly.
I said he was button mashing.
No, I knew what I I knew how it works, but I couldn't execute it because I wasn't memorizing the skills yet. So Varys has like this one skill that's a counter, right? And depending on if you Omega or not, it's gonna counter physical or magical skills. And the other one is like the damage skill. And if you Omega that, it gives you more damage and a second hit on the next attack, I think. And you also have a timed input on that attack. So I realized how it works, but I could not execute it at all.
That's a lot. Just you explaining that, that's too freaking much. That's too freaking
Yeah, and that's
much.
just 2 skills, man.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Alright, so
That's just 2 of the 50 skills.
I will price this
Yeah, man.
game.
I don't know, man.
I like the story mode. I like the rogue mode. You know, if I don't want to play story, I just want to do a challenge mode, I could definitely do the rogue mode. I think it's a good game. You know what I'm saying? Like, got great art, great action sequencing, great
Yeah,
battlers.
it's not bad. Sure, it has its value.
I give it
But
14.
personally, I cannot give it a price.
I give it $14.99. I'll pay 14
Yeah.
bucks for this game.
Yeah,
$15.
yeah, sure. 14, 20 bucks. If it's a full release, sure, why not?
Yeah.
I would still refund it though because I can literally not play it.
Gotcha. All right, guys, we gotta spin this wheel. It's almost 5:30. I know it's like almost 12 o'clock in Germantown.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and spin this wheel for the next week podcast game. Bird Bunch, like always, definitely appreciate you supporting the RPG Maker community. Definitely supporting the RTP podcast and D757 Gaming Streams. Definitely appreciate your contribution and your feedback.
Let's freaking
to
go.
others. So let's spin this freaking wheel, boy. Let's go.
What?
Alright, y'all ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Just like always, this is going to be last man or woman standing.
Oh, did you? By the way, did you remove that other game?
What game?
Like you thought we was playing already?
Past
Oh man, I was checking the thing. I think we played it, or
Past
I
the
saw
end,
you play. I'm not sure, man.
What game?
Past the end, I think
We
it was,
played
yeah.
it because I went to the page and I saw the podcast.
So we actually did. Like I was checking out the forum on our server, and I was like, did we play that, or did I just see you play? I could not remember.
Yeah, that
no
me,
way.
you, and Cychronic played that one.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I actually did.
All right, good luck, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo,
Good freaking luck. Good freaking luck. All right, re-roll. Re-roll has been eliminated. Re-roll has been eliminated. Alright. No Time for Mercy, been up there forever, has been eliminated. No Time for Mercy has been freaking eliminated. Ace of Aces game, I really wanted to play this one, has been eliminated. Ace of Ace, our whiz kid.
we can just keep it on the wheel.
Leyline Sensitive Chronicles been eliminated. Leyline Sensitive has been eliminated. Leyline Sensitive has been eliminated. Reroll has been eliminated. Reroll has been eliminated. Desperation Reincarnation has been eliminated. Desperation Reincarnation has been eliminated. Floral Disaffect is gone. Floral Disaffect has been eliminated. I'm so sorry, guys. Dreams of an Addict is out of here.
Oh man, we better not be playing man.
Dreams of an Addict is out of here. Mana Raiders is out of here. So these last two games, Heroes of Speria and Deaths of Insanity, I've never played these games. I am wanted to play Heroes of
You
Speria
sure?
though. I wants to play that one so bad. So is it? I'm rooting for
I
Heroes.
was I was sure you played Speria
Nope,
before.
never played that one.
Huh.
Let's freaking go. Holy smokes, re-roll. Re-roll has been eliminated. It kind of gives other players a suspense. You know, oh my gosh. That whatever. You know, re-roll it just in case. Kind of give them a different chance of being picked, even if they were going to be in pick. And talking to y'all, Heroes of Speria has been eliminated. So, Depths of Insanity is the winner. We will be playing Depths of Insanity. Depths of Insanity is going to be on the
Insanity? What the
next
fuck is insanity, man?
Insanity.
Where's your English, dude?
Depths of Insanity is going to be the next podcast game. And the developer of this game, let me look it up real quick.
Gotta scroll really
That's
far
all the
down.
way down. Holy cow. I want to make sure if the game is available. If it's not, then we got to respin. It's on
Oh man, it's
Steam.
actually the last entry.
It's on
It's on
Steam.
Steam?
It's a 3D game.
Oh, it's a Steam link there too.
This is
I
going to
guess
be
we're
insane. Holy smokes.
I guess we're gonna play the demo then. I don't think we ever heard from the developer again. Like
Yeah, because One
never.
Man Indie posted this. One Man
Yeah.
Indie posted this game,
So
so
since you're up with recording,
to
do you
be
want to
honest,
contact the dev for
the
keys or?
to be honest, I don't even know the developers in the podcast. I don't think they even were in the podcast. I think this is
I
just a game
have
that One Man
no
Indie just
idea.
chosen.
I have no freaking idea.
So I don't. I mean I'm not gonna ask the developer because they don't know who we are. You know what I mean? I just probably just
Oh.
play it,
Yeah, I mean,
play the
Omi did
demo.
post these entries because we made it a forum, right? Like it was just a chat channel before, so I don't even remember if the dev was here before.
But One Man Indie, the one that posted it, and it's been months
Yep.
since he's been here.
Yep. I do not remember.
See, Heroes of Speria.
I mean, I'm fine either way. We can just play the demo, I guess. No problem with that. Don't need no keys.
Heroes of Speria, Hero, he's in the podcast. He's in the chat. So that was posted August of last year. Holy smokes. So we don't even know if some of these developers still alive or not, to be honest. Sorry to say it like that, but man, we gotta crack down on these wheel games.
Yep, that's why I said we should probably spin it all the time so we can clear out
You
all these
ain't
old
say that.
entries.
You be like,
I said
man.
that. Man, I said it live. We have proof.
Yeah, whatever. Right, guys.
Whatever he said.
Podcast is now over. Deaths of Insanity. We could just play the demo, my guy. If the demo is I don't even know, man, to be honest. It don't even look like this game got even. But we'll give it a whirl. We'll give it a
Yeah,
whirl.
we'll see.
We'll
I
see.
guess.
We'll see. This is going to be interesting because first we got to see, is it even made with RPG Maker? It looks like it though. Then it doesn't, but it does with 3D. It does look like. If not, then
I mean, that's easy to find out, though. And if it's not with RPG Maker, we can just spin the wheel again. Or I guess we can just play Heroes of Speria since that's the second place, basically.
Yep. If this game isn't made with RPG Maker, we just do Heroes of Speria.
Exactly. But that's easy to find out.
So thank
It's
you all
$10.
for stopping by and supporting the RTP podcast. Definitely you guys showed out today. Definitely appreciate the support and hope you tune in next week and tell your friends about us. Let your friends know that, you know, there are two individuals that will play your game and talk about your game on the Rarely Typical Player podcast. And don't forget to follow me and follow Harlequin personal pages. You know, he'll probably stream your game if you pay him to do it. If not, you're out of luck. All right, guys.